So nice to see you all. And let's just settle into a nice, comfortable meditation posture, seated position. And so just start to bring your mind inwards and just notice the breath as you become aware of the feet on on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Try and put some space in between those vertebrae. And then just go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, the eyes. Just bringing some softness into your face. Just remember to breathe. Relax the temples, the jaw, back of the tongue, relax the back of the head, the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And then bring the mind to the breath. Again, noticing the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. And just allow everything to sort of settle. For most of us here, probably everyone here except for Jay, we're all probably heading off for bed pretty soon. So this is probably, for most of you, it'll be the last practice you do for the day. So it's really an opportunity to start turning inwards. And for those people in whose it's lunchtime now, which is Australia, then it doesn't hurt to do a Vajrasattva practice in the middle of the day and then come out again, because you've got the rest of the day to sort of think about what it was we are doing here, particularly when it comes to making a decision to try to refrain from harming. So we get to actually be awake, and it's still fresh in our mind, fresh in your minds. So be aware of any sounds in your environment. Just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow with the mind. And then just notice what's arising in the mind. And try not to judge it or criticize it. or follow it or create a story. Just watch objectively, curiously. When you notice something maybe old or new, or you recognize something, it's like, oh, that's interesting. And then bring to mind all the people of your life. So you can start with the ones you love very, very dearly. And then your strangers. And then the people you don't like so much. And just remember, they can all change place at any time, these relationships. The way you feel about people. And then just remember, regardless of how you feel towards any one particular person at any one particular time, they're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can create positivity instead. So we can motivate to do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, for ourselves, as we're moving along our spiritual path. So sincerely regret from the depths of the heart. So this is the first of the 4 opponent powers. Anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing, well, that's very interesting. We're not needing the Buddha to forgive us. We're not looking for higher power to take all our pain away. We're looking for some methods that we can use and, just do ourselves, engage in our own healing process. So this way we have a little bit more of a sense of power, a little bit more sense of control. And this is definitely within our reach. We all have the capacity to do this. You just have to remember it takes time. So we do need to be a little bit patient with ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. And here you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit, and he's made radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion. So just let those words land for a moment. Indestructibility of compassion. And there being cross represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, I need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those beings who may have harmed you. And we have compassion for them because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. It arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all our kind of inappropriate speech, all this kind of speech we have and no one listens to anything you're saying. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Humpe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So feel really happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just like when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch, the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So just imagine as the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and grudges and anger, depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a humpe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dinapatita Dida me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorakta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagawan, Sawatata gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe, Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anorakta me boa, Sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Ambhadrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva ah hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So imagine light and nectar coming from Vajrasattva's heart, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sisa Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata ah humpe. Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva ah hum pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And again, the fourth and final step of this purification process. It's really crucial that we make a decision if we want to move forward. And the whole reason for doing this practice is that we want to kind of change our minds and have them move in a more positive direction. So we have to make a decision in order to want to do that. I mean, the fact that everybody's turned up tonight and engaged in the practice already indicates that this is what you want to do. So we're just reiterating it here at the end. It's almost like you're making a vow to yourself to kind of make some changes. And I think the first change we all need to think about is this one of negative self-talk, because everything seems to stem from there. So all these delusions we have in our mind, all this chatter we have in our mind, it's what kind of leads us to make decisions to do things that might be harmful to ourselves and others. So we want to maybe we can just even make a vow to ourselves to sort of calm down all of that chatter, or at least to put some space in between that chatter and to question it. Like if you heard your best friend talking about themselves in that way, I'm certain you would pull them up and say, hey, you might want to change the way you're thinking there. So if you wouldn't let your best friend talk to themselves like that, why would you let yourself talk to yourself like that? But I think a lot of the time is first of all, we need to recognize that that's what we're doing. So that's what we do at the very beginning. So when we make a determination that you're going to work on some of the self-talk, some of the stories, even if you just put aside maybe 5 minutes in a day just to see what's going on in the mind, and try and very gently, very kindly, be kind to your heart. Just redirect some of those thoughts, some of the panic, some of the anxiety, some of the blame. And don't forget to breathe. So let's just dedicate. Well, first of all, Vajrasattva was delighted with us. Remember, this is also the mind of your teacher, and wanting to merge with your mind melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So just for as much as you understand these teachings on emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then we make a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and to stay with us and to be able to keep teaching. And then for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation. And then, of course, for all of your own individual teachers who are always just there helping us, guiding us. All right, everyone. Lots of love. Good night. I will see some of you tomorrow morning